Hey there, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer, and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is all about getting to the root cause of all of the drama in our lives. And ultimately, I want to dive into how we get so distracted and we get so caught up in the things that we think the problem is, but oftentimes we end up we're just treating the actual symptom and not actually the cause. And we really need to get to the bottom of that. And that's ultimately what I want to dive into with you guys today. And really why I want to do that is because I'm getting so many, opportunities in my own life and also in the lives of many of my clients and the people that I get to connect with in terms of having real trouble making decisions. And not only having real trouble making decisions, but kind of feeling like you're constantly sabotaging your success. And you're constantly making these decisions that you feel like you consciously know the right thing, you consciously know the healthiest, the best choice to make for yourself, but you end up having no willpower and feeling totally out of control and making the wrong choice over and over again. And so some examples of this might be in your health, making that, do I make that decision to have the healthy food, or the bad food, or do I make the decision to get off the couch and go to the gym, or just stay here and watch TV? All these just like tiny little daily issues that we get so caught up on, decisions, whatever it is, I'm talking about the decision between the healthy choice and the unhealthy choice, whether that is, in terms of our physical bodies and nutrition, but also on the emotional level, whether we make the choice to, engage and overreact and get into conflict and get angry or not, and so all of those little daily decisions that we get so caught up on, and we consciously know what the right decision is, but we end up having no willpower and making the wrong decision. And so what happens is we get so caught up on these daily problems and we're trying to find the solution to these, surface level problems. Why can't I make that right decision to just be healthy? Why can't I get motivated to get to the gym? Why can't I make the choice not to do the drugs? Why can't I make the choice to not engage in this conflict? Why do I overreact all the time? And we get caught up trying to find the solution to those symptoms. And I'm going to get to the cause in a moment, but I want you to focus on what this pattern is that we play. And when we focus on the symptom, and we try and find the solution to the symptom, we try and find the next new diet, we try and find, we try and bite our tongue instead of overreacting. Try and find these solutions to the symptoms, these little daily problems that we have, and ultimately they rely on willpower. And willpower, we've only got a certain amount of it in any given day, and it's not sustainable to be making our decisions based on willpower. We have to get to the cause, and that's what I want to dive into with you guys. And I'd love to hear what you think about what I'm about to share with you. But ultimately, it is my core belief that the cause to all the drama in our lives, all those, that conflict, that sabotage, that, when we know the answer but we don't do the right thing and we feel out of control with it, it all stems from our incongruence with the truth of who we are. And I'm really passionate about this because when we don't know who we are and we're not listening to our inner wisdom, our inner truth, we're not getting attached to who am I and what do I think? What do I value? And instead we're looking to the external and, we're trying to just be all these certain ways. When we're living incongruently to the truth of who we are, the smallest decisions become a nightmare. And I'm starting to believe that all of these little, decisions that we make on the daily basis that we're like, oh, I can't make that decision to be healthy, or I can't make that right choice and all of that stuff. I am coming to believe, because I always use myself as a guinea pig, I'm absolutely coming to believe that we distract ourselves with those symptoms on purpose, because there's that deeper part of us that always knows that we're not being true to ourselves. We always have those answers. We always know what's really true inside, but it's whether or not you're tuning into it or you're trying to tune it out and having those little dramatic little problems that we have in our everyday lives are great distractions from, that deeper, terrifying fact that we're not being true to who we are and we're being somebody that we're not. And that's really, like I'm always talking about, it's always attached to that deep-seated, deepest fear that is always guiding us when we're unconscious to it, that we're not lovable, That's really what's driving it. And so we need to recognize, we need to get to a point of complete honesty with ourselves, because we're really great at distracting ourselves with these little surface level problems that we think we need to find the solutions to. And we oftentimes spend our entire lives trying to find that next, like I mentioned, that next health program or nutrition program or whatever it is, relying on that willpower or trying to find that solution, but it's solution to a symptom that's not sustainable. You have to get to the root cause. And I absolutely, it is my life's mission to really develop my ability to tap into that body's intelligence, that awareness piece. I know personally that sometimes it's my decisions and my choices and negative patterns that I get caught up in that are my biggest alert to me being incongruent somewhere in my life. And I've been playing around with this idea for a long time now, and it keeps getting more and more solidified for me. And so I know personally, I start making really bad decisions, or I make, those little decisions like how to look after my health. I start making the wrong decisions. I start eating poorly. I start losing motivation to get to the gym. I start, kind of like just, like maybe overreacting or, not being in a great emotional state. And now I've come to discover whenever I am going to those unhealthy sort of decisions and patterns, it is always, I can absolutely always tie it to somewhere in my life I'm not being congruent. I'm not stepping up with my truth. I'm not coming with courage and truth and being in alignment with the truth of who I am. I'm not tuning into myself and aligning with the answer that I discover there. I'm, too externally focused in those times. So I know personally when I am congruent with myself, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to make the healthy choice in any area of my life, because when you align and get congruent with the truth of who you are, and you step forth from that position, ultimately you start to trust yourself. When you're consistently being congruent with the truth of who you are, you start to trust yourself. You start to believe in yourself and you start to value yourself. Now, somebody who trusts, believes, and values in themselves, they make very different decisions automatically than somebody who totally distrusts themselves, who doesn't believe in themselves and doesn't value themselves. So, you've got to understand that the root cause of all the drama, all the poor decisions is absolutely stemming from whether or not you are being congruent with the truth of who you are. And you have to uncover who that is. You need to know who you are. You need to start listening to yourself. You need to start turning up the volume on your inner voice and turning down the volume on all those external opinions, judgments, criticisms, everything that you fear in that external world. Because if you want to be free, if you want to live a truly fulfilling life where you're growing and ultimately with that growth you're able to contribute and add value to the world, then you have to get congruent with who you really are. And if you're like me, I think we're all humans, and I think we can all relate to this experience once we start building that self-awareness, that it is when you are making poor decisions for yourself, it's because you're not being congruent with yourself, and therefore you're creating, distrust within yourself and a lack of value of yourself. So get on that journey, get clear on who you really are, align fully with it, the sooner you start moving in that direction with courage, the sooner you feel free, the sooner you start moving forward and growing to a new level of your potential, and the sooner you start ultimately trusting and valuing yourself. And that you have to have that foundational piece in order to get to a new level of your potential. So I'm absolutely hoping that today's message is resonating with you guys. I hope that it is inspiring to you guys. I hope it's got you thinking about where in your life right now are you making some poor decisions? Are you making some unhealthy decisions where your conscious mind totally knows it's the wrong thing to do? You know, we're not stupid. We know when we're making poor decisions, but you feel out of control with it. You feel like you just have to rely on willpower, you know, to be able to overcome it. And you might take one step forward, but then you end up backwards. It's all because you're not being congruent with the truth of who you are. And that's the journey you need to start taking. So you're not just treating symptoms, you're getting to the root cause and absolutely creating the best domino effect you could ever create in your life in terms of, you know, really stepping forth with trust, belief, and value in yourself. So definitely going to check in with you guys. Before I absolutely do, I want to make sure that you guys are definitely dropping any questions or comments or feedback. I'd love to hear your perspective on this topic. I was just writing away and I was like, boom, I really want to share this. And that's why I'm just jumping on and I'm talking it out. And so definitely let me know what your perspective is. Yeah, share any sort of feedback there. And if you guys haven't already, what are you doing? You've got to come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. Beautiful like minds, gorgeous souls who absolutely touch my heart with their ability to grow and contribute. And they definitely want to connect with another like mind, just like you, who wants to get to that next level, and you want to support, encourage, and challenge each other to do just that. So definitely going to check in with you guys now, and I've got Richard and Alonia and George and Letty and Neto and Hassani and Steve and Luke and Jamie and Jolanta and Judy and Jace and Rajindra and Heather and Letty. Hey Vanessa, good to see you. Great topic, and great to see you as always, Letty. Thanks for being here. I'm loving that today's topic is resonating with you. And yes, absolutely happy New Year to you as well, Nancy. Thank you so much. And Mary's here, and Choppy and Zoe and Lucy and Courtney and Jason and Samuel. Meditation has helped me with dramatic people. You know, definitely. I really think that we need some form of mindfulness practice, whether that is meditation for you, or you have some other, like a journaling practice, or an ability to just check in with the self. You know, that is such a beautiful gift that you're not only giving to yourself, you're giving to other people, and maybe those dramatic people, you can sort of, sort of hone in their negativity and or their drama and step forth with your positivity and be a leader in that arena. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Samuel. And Mully's here, and Letty, lack of self-confidence, Vanessa. Yeah, lack of self-confidence always stems from you not being congruent with the truth of who you are. And this is the challenge that we get in, because when you think about it, when you lack self-confidence, it's hard to take a step that's courageous because you're not believing in your ability to handle it. You know, you're trapped in fear, you know, and so but we have to take action. We have to start just getting into action, no matter how much we're lacking in our trust or belief or confidence within ourselves. The only way out is through and up. So you've got to have the courage to take that first step. And that's why I'm a coach, you know, because and that's why I have coaches in my life, because sometimes we need somebody to shine the light on that path that we're kind of terrified to go down, and believe in us when we're not necessarily believing in ourselves, so that we can get into action, start taking that first step, and generate that self-confidence, that trust, that value, and that belief in ourselves. So love that you're bringing that to the conversation there, Letty. And Jodie's here, and Gretel, and Stephen, and Britt. Awesome. And David, cannot live life on purpose until you know who you are and what your true purpose is. Our thoughts unconsciously attract good or bad. What you think about comes about. Yeah, totally agree with that, David. I would say, yeah, definitely you need to know who you are. And I'm always saying that we are constantly evolving who we are. So it's a constant check-in process that you need to develop in your life to stay in alignment and incongruent with who you're growing into as well. And definitely I love you bringing that to the surface there. I think people can get really caught up in having this one purpose that's going to completely revolutionize their life, and they get so caught up in having this purpose, and they also expect their purpose to be attached to dollar signs, that they often miss all the good and the beauty and everything they have to be grateful for, and everything about living life fully in the moment. So I think that also our purpose can change and shift, and we have to stay open-minded in terms of what that purpose looks like. It oftentimes doesn't look anything like you're expecting it to, and that's why we can often miss our purpose in life. Our purpose is something that we can live into each and every day. And yeah, so drop the rules and expectations if you're on that journey. Start being much more open-minded, and don't let it distract you from all the beauty that's currently around you as well. So thanks so much for bringing that to the conversation, David. I love it. And yes, I'm loving that you're loving David's thought as well there, Letty. And Gary's here. And sorry I can't say your Thai name, but I appreciate you being here. And George is here. And Elliot, you're super welcome. And Letty, you're so welcome as well. And David, surround yourself with positive and supportive people. Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly why I created the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community, because they are absolutely awesome people to surround yourself with and be like-minded. And definitely you want to go on that journey being surrounded. You know, I'm always mentioning Jim Rohn's quote, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Might as well be really selective in terms of who those people are. Love that, David. And Jeff's here, and Dustin. And Philippe, we take decisions every moment, most of them based in our unconscious program. We have experiences every 3 seconds, whatever the action we see, we hear, or we feel, and then there is a trigger for the emotions accordingly. Our programs, whether is biological, learned, or conscious. And the conscious, we take decisions, the better we can have them. Nevertheless, don't forget to follow that inner voice in your body, because deep down we know what's best for us. Absolutely, Philippe. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. You always know what the right thing for you is. You just need to stop. You need to value the voice on the inside. You need to ask yourself the question that you're seeking externally, and listen. And try and, you know, tap more fully into that internal wisdom. You've got it. It's just a matter of whether you're listening to it or not. And then you have to align with it if you really want to get ahead in your life and get out of the drama of these surface level symptoms, which are not really the root cause. So thank you so much, Philippe. And thank you for your kind words there, Philippe. And Dustin, hey to you. And Moises and Fit Chris, you're so welcome. And Hassan's here. And thank you. You shared the thoughts. Awesome, Letty. And Elliot, this really resonated with me. I am my single greatest limitation. I need to overcome my fake limitations. Absolutely, Elliot. I love that you're on that journey, and definitely you're going to get there. Definitely. I love it. Thanks so much for sharing. And Tanya's here, and T2, and Michael, and you're welcome, Letty, and Peter's here, and Maddie. Yes, today's message is same as yesterday's. Still love you. You're going to find that, all of what I talk into is what I find to be absolutely at the core of us reaching our highest levels of our potential. You have to know who you are. You have to be authentic. You have to be congruent. So those are kind of going to be the themes in most everything that I talk into, absolutely. And Wolf's here, and Lena, thank you, you're welcome, and thank you for your kind words there, Andy, and Linda's here, and Bayla, and Jason from Colombia, thanks for being here, and Ellen, and David. We are our experiences. Get out there and experience, absolutely. And you know, I would say that our experiences are also, you know, born in the mind. You know, anything can be happening in the external. It's what we make it mean that becomes our true experience, you know, our subjective experience. So I love that, David. And Linda just arrived. Happy New Year 2018. Glad you are in my life with such amazing life teachings. Oh, thank you so much for those beautifully kind words there, Linda. And Linda, what does congruent mean? Yeah, so congruent means in alignment. So being congruent is being in alignment with the truth of who you are. And when you're incongruent, it means you're out of alignment. Hope that cleared that up for you. And Letty, what about self-awareness, Vanessa? Yeah, so this is all about self-awareness, you know, because you can't be yourself when you're not aware of who you are, you know, and you can't listen to yourself and listen to that inner wisdom if you're not being consciously aware of that voice, you know. So absolutely, self-awareness is going to underpin everything that we're talking about today. So you have to go on that journey. And you know, how I really started tapping into my self-awareness was to start different practices that are mindfulness practices. Like I mentioned earlier, you know, around meditation, around journaling was a huge one for me. So if you are more extroverted, you're going to have a harder time tapping into that internal wisdom because it's more of an introverted process that you have to engage in. And so I'm not saying it's easy for introverted people to just be totally self-aware and attached to that. But when you're extroverted like myself, sometimes how I process it, to use myself as an example, is I have to get things into my external world so that I can then internalize them, so that I can then kind of try and understand what they are. So journaling was a huge process for me to be able to get my thoughts out into the external world and then make sense of them. It's why, you know, these Facebook Lives that I do, I don't script anything. I actually am just talking because that's what works best for me. You know, instead of trying to internalize what am I going to talk about, what am I going to think about, how am I going to share this message, that doesn't quite work for me. My best comes when I just talk it out. I talk about what's most valuable to me and I'm making sense of it in the moment. And so, yeah, that's just sharing a bit beyond about, you know, using me as an example there for you. But you've got to find that self-awareness strategy for you, whatever works. Meditation is great, particularly if you want to, tap into, you know, that internal voice and create quietness so that you can start listening into it and finding where it is. So hope that was helpful there, Letty. And Alexandria, awesome to see you as always. And Billy and Payman, who you are is beyond words. Words cannot describe you, they can't at best point to it. I think I missed what you were trying to say there, Payman, but let me know. Sorry if I'm just on the spot here and I just didn't quite pick that up. But Alexandria, I'm an INFP personality. Awesome. I love that you've uncovered that. So that's a whole nother topic, but I can totally see how you would be because you'd be leading with that process of authenticity with exploration and wow, authenticity, I see the artist in you. Exploration with that, I totally see how you're an INFP. But anyway, that's a totally different conversation, but I love you sharing that. Saying that knowing myself better will help me stick to eating healthier more consistently. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm really trying to answer this question. Hassani, I'm going to try and squeeze it in before the internet cuts out again. But really what it is that when you start to understand who you really are and you align with the congruent answers to your truth, you know, to asking yourself, what would my higher self do right now? What's true to me? me, and you start making decisions from that place, automatically what happens is you start to trust yourself a whole bunch more, you start to value yourself a whole bunch more, and then all of those little decisions that get caught up in the surface about the healthy decisions as to how to treat our bodies, they unconsciously, the pattern forms that you just automatically start making much better, healthier choices, because you're not using those as a distraction from the real problem. You're being congruent and you're consistently showing up, aligning with the truth of who you are in every area of your life. And from that place, you start, those things that you already consciously know is the right decision to make, you make them, because you are absolutely wanting to treat yourself with love, respect, and value. And so I hope that how I explained that resonated, made sense. If it didn't, let me know, and I really want you guys to get value from this message. So let me know if I explained that well enough for you there, Hassani. And you're so welcome, Letty, and Mo's here. Guys, I am hoping that today's message has absolutely got you thinking, shifting your perspective, and stop getting caught up in like all those little surface level daily issues where you already know what the right answer is. You don't need any more information. You're not stupid. You got the answers. But when you're feeling like you sabotage your success and you need to rely on willpower, there's a problem going on. And instead of treating the symptom, you've got to get to the root cause. My core belief is that it always stems from a lack of self-awareness around who the truth of who we are is, and you're not congruently aligning fully with that truth. Awesome, Haas. I love that actually made sense to you. That's awesome. And I'm glad that we got to tie that off. That internet was driving me crazy. But I am sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's amazing. I hope it's extraordinary. And it's going to be super, super hot here in Melbourne. So I'm just going to keep working away, get to the gym, have a great day. So I am absolutely sending all my love to you guys, and I will see you all tomorrow.